You know what's wild? We're about to watch Gen Z hit the bankruptcy crisis of 2026 in real time. And if you're drowning in debt right now and thinking, I'll just file bankruptcy and start fresh, congratulations. You're about to make the same mistake I made in 2007. And I know what you're thinking. It's just a reset button, right? Yeah, no. You're basically nuking your financial future from orbit and hoping something grows back. According to recent Federal Reserve data, Gen Z is carrying more debt at younger ages than any previous generation. That's like showing up to a marathon already exhausted before the starting gun even fires. Today, I'm going to break down the two main types of bankruptcy, explain why I wish I had better guidance before I filed mine, and show you how to repair your credit before you even think about pulling that bankruptcy trigger. Because trust me, your future self is literally begging you to watch this. All right, first off, Chapter 7, the clean slate fantasy, or how to nuke your financial future in one easy step. Let's start with Chapter 7, the bankruptcy everybody thinks they want. And Chapter 7 is basically the financial equivalent of setting your house on fire to kill a spider. Everything goes. Your credit cards, medical bills, personal loans, gone. Sounds amazing, right? Here's the thing. Chapter 7 means they liquidate your assets. That means if you've got anything valuable, car, electronics, even that gaming setup you finance, they can seize it to pay your creditors. You keep some basics, your clothes, modest furniture, maybe one beater car, but everything else, fair game. The real talk, I have this friend, Eric, who thought he was being smart. He was 29, had about $40,000 in credit card debt from trying to invest in himself with online courses and business tools, filed Chapter 7. Clean slate, right? Plot twist. They took his truck that he needed for his side hustle. The truck he'd just spent $8,000 fixing up. And get this, Chapter 7 stays on your credit report for 10 years, a decade. That's longer than most people keep their phones. And fast forward to now, and guess what? He can't get approved for an apartment lease without a cosigner. He's 35, living with roommates because landlords see that bankruptcy and run. And the math? That $40,000 in debt he erased, it cost him probably $100,000 plus in higher interest rates, denied housing, and rejected job applications. And yeah, some employers check credit and lost opportunities. That's 10,000 Chipotle burritos or like a Tesla. Pick your metaphor. And before you even think about Chapter 7, you need to exhaust every other option. And I mean every option. Debt consolidation, credit counseling, negotiating with creditors directly, hardship programs. Chapter 7 should be the absolute last resort when you literally have no income or no other path. So drop a comment below. What's the craziest debt mistake you've made? Now I'll go first. I dumped $10K into a can't miss MLM opportunity because my cousin said he was making $5,000 a month. Spoiler, he wasn't. But let me know down in the comments. Now on to number 2, Chapter 13, the payment plan prison, or my 5-year financial probation story. Okay, story time. This is personal. In 2007, I was drowning. Pharmacist income, but terrible decisions. Credit cards maxed. I thought I was being responsible by choosing Chapter 13 over Chapter 7 because I was told it was the better option since I had income. And Chapter 13 is a repayment plan. You don't lose your assets, but you commit to paying back a portion of your debts over 3 to 5 years through court-supervised payments. Sounds responsible, right? Plot twist. It's like being on financial probation for up to 5 years. And here's what nobody told me. I couldn't make any major financial decisions without court approval. Wanted to buy a car when mine died? Court approval required. Got a raise at work? Had to report it. My payments went up. Every single month, my income went straight to a trustee who distributed it to creditors. I paid roughly $2,500 per month for 5 years to the trustee. Do the math. That's $150,000 I paid back on debts that total about $90,000. Where'd that extra $60K go? Trustee fees, legal fees, interest, administrative costs. That's 6,000 burritos, by the way, or 60 months of rent. And get this, Chapter 13 stays on your credit report for 7 years. Not as bad as Chapter 7's 10, but still 7 years of explaining to every lender why you filed bankruptcy. Fast forward to now, and here's what I wish someone had told me. I had options I had never explored. I could have negotiated directly with creditors. Many will settle for 40 to 60 cents on the dollar. worked with a legitimate credit counseling service, consolidated my debt at lower interest rates, even just stopped paying and dealt with collections. Yeah, it sucks, but it's better than bankruptcy. The thing is, I got scared. I listened to a bankruptcy attorney whose job is to file bankruptcies, not someone who could show me all my options. Here's the truth about Chapter 13. If you make too much money to qualify for Chapter 7, they push you into Chapter 13. It's designed for people with regular income who can pay something back. But here's what the courts don't tell you. You're basically entering indentured servitude for years while the system takes its cut. Your credit is destroyed for 7 years. You can't get loans, mortgages, or even some jobs. And all those payments you're making, a huge chunk goes to fees, not your actual debt. So number 3, the bankruptcies you'll never use, Chapter 11 and 12, the corporate and farm edition. Quick detour here because you might have heard about Chapter 11 and Chapter 12 and wondered if there are options for you. But Chapter 11 is the business reorganization bankruptcy. It's what massive corporations use when they want to restructure debt but keep operating. Think of it like Toys R Us or JCPenney. Unless you're running a business with millions in assets and debts, this isn't your lane. It costs hundreds of thousands in legal fees just to file. Yeah, no. And Chapter 12 is specifically for family farms and fisheries, literally. If you're a Gen Z farmer or fisherman struggling with debt, Chapter 12 exists. But let's be real. If you're watching this, you're probably not waking up at 4 a.m. to milk cows. And the important thing to know, these exist, but they're not consumer bankruptcy options. If someone's trying to sell you on Chapter 11 or 12 for your credit card debt, run. They're either incompetent or scamming you. For Gen Z watching this, Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 are your only real bankruptcy options. And as I'm about to show you, they shouldn't be options at all. So number 4, stop the debt spiral before it starts. The prevention plan nobody teaches Gen Z. And here's where it gets interesting. Most Gen Z debt spirals follow the exact same pattern, and it's 100% preventable. It starts innocently, a $500 credit card for emergencies. Then it's $2,000, then $5,000. Then you're juggling 3 cards, making minimum payments. And one unexpected expense, car repair, medical bill, job loss, sends the whole thing tumbling down. The thing you should be tracking isn't your credit limit. It's your debt to income ratio. This is how lenders actually view you. If you're spending more than 36% of your gross income on debt payments, including rent or mortgage, you're in the danger zone. Here's your prevention plan. Number 1, calculate your real numbers. Total monthly debt payments divided by monthly gross income equals your ratio. If it's over 36%, you're already sliding toward trouble. If it's over 50%, you're in crisis mode. Number 2, create the 3-tier system. Survival money. 3 months expenses, not your fantasy lifestyle, your actual survival needs. Buffer money. Additional 3 months for when life happens. And freedom money. Money that earns more money. Investments. Side business. And number 3, stop the bleeding now. Freeze your credit cards, literally. Put them on ice. And delete saved payment info from Amazon, DoorDash, all of it. Unsubscribe retail emails. Remove social media shopping apps. Number 4, the debt snowball versus avalanche decision. Snowball, pay smallest debts first, psychological wins. Avalanche, pay highest interest first, mathematical wins. Pick one and commit for 12 months minimum. Now, real talk, this isn't sexy. You won't post this on Instagram, but your future self, the one not filing bankruptcy, will thank you. And number 5, the I'm already screwed trap. How to repair credit instead of destroying it. This is the psychological trap nobody warned you about. The I'm already screwed, so why bother mindset. It's that person who has a 580 credit score and thinks, well, might as well file bankruptcy since my credit's already toast. Or the person who missed 3 payments and just gives up. This is called the sunk cost fallacy mixed with learned helplessness, which sounds like a disease, but it's actually worse. It's financial paralysis. See, here's what the credit bureaus don't want you to know. Credit can be repaired, not quickly, not easily, but absolutely possible. And it's way less destructive than bankruptcy. And here's your credit repair playbook. Number 1, the dispute process, free and powerful. Get your credit reports from all 3 bureaus, annualcreditreport.com. Dispute every inaccuracy, no matter how small. Collections older than 7 years, dispute them. They shouldn't be there. And about 30% of credit reports have errors that hurt your score. Number 2, the negotiation game. Call your creditors before they send you to collections. Offer lump sum settlements. Many will accept 40 to 60% of the balance. Get pay for delete agreements in writing. Never admit the debt is yours until they prove it. Number 3, the strategic rebuild. Get a secured credit card, $200 to $500 deposit, and use it for one reoccurring bill like Netflix, and pay it off in full every month. Your score will climb 50 to 100 points in 12 months. And number 4, the collections hack. Debt collectors bought your debt for pennies on the dollar. They'll settle for way less than you owe. Everything is negotiable, seriously, everything. And never give them access to your bank account. And here's some math to consider. Let's say you have $30,000 in debt heading to collections. You think bankruptcy is your only option. Option A, file Chapter 13, pay $150,000 over 5 years, destroy credit for 7 years. Option B, negotiate settlements, pay $12,000 to $18,000 over 2 to 3 years, rebuild credit as you go. That's $132,000 difference. That's 13,200 burritos or a house down payment or your freedom. Now, the repercussions of bankruptcy everyone ignores. Can't get security clearance, kills government and defense contractor jobs, denied housing, landlords auto-reject bankruptcies, higher insurance premiums, and yes, they check credit. Some states let employers reject you based on bankruptcy. Can't get business loans or credit for years. Relationship stress. Daisy and I barely made it through mine. The emotional weight of explaining it for a decade. Remember, bankruptcy doesn't erase your past. It shadows your future. And here's your anti-bankruptcy action plan. All right, so what's the right move when you're drowning in debt and 2026 is staring you down? Simple. Exhaust every option before you even think about bankruptcy. Number 1, list everything. The brutal truth audit. Every debt, every creditor, every interest rate. Your actual take-home income, not what you wish it was. Essential expenses only. Rent, food, utilities, not DoorDash. And number 2, contact your creditors first. Call and ask about hardship programs. Request interest rate reductions. Negotiate payment plans. And ask for settlements if you're behind. Number 3, explore credit counseling, the legit kind. Find a nonprofit NFCC certified counselor, not debt settlement companies. Those are often scams. They can negotiate on your behalf without the bankruptcy hit. Number 4, consider debt consolidation loan. One payment instead of juggling multiple. Lower overall interest rate. Fixed payoff date. Credit unions often have better rates than banks. Number 5, bankruptcy as absolute last resort. Only if you've tried everything above. Only if you have zero income or insurmountable debt. Consult with multiple attorneys, not just one. Understand it's a 7 to 10 year consequence. Your money should be building your future, not funding bankruptcy lawyers and trustees. Make it work for you, not against you. And here's the bottom line. Why easy doesn't equal smart. Look, I get it. You're stressed. The debt feels crushing. Filing bankruptcy seems like the easy way out. But easy doesn't make you wealthy. Strategic makes you wealthy. So stop being a financial arsonist setting your future on fire. Be a financial firefighter. Okay, that metaphor got away from me. Just pause before you file. Try the repair strategies. Negotiate. Fight for your financial future. Future you will thank you. Current you might need therapy, but that's what the emergency fund is for. And if you want to learn more about building wealth, check out this video. And if you need help finding legitimate credit counseling services, I've got links in the description. Now, stop watching YouTube and go negotiate with your creditors. Peace be with you, and may your credit score rise faster than your anxiety levels.